live. I mentioned that I would go live earlier this morning, but I never told you when, and because I wasn't quite sure what time I was going to get home with Annie. Like I put in the community tab, Annie had her semi-annual checkup, because she does have an illness, but the checkup went beautiful, but it is like a 4-hour round trip. So I didn't know what time I'd be back, but I wanted to do this right away. If you're here, let me know that you can hear and see me. Give me a little thumbs up, say hi. Don't hesitate to comment, and I'll give everybody a second to tune in. If anybody does want to book a reading, because I keep saying this because I know I'm going to get a ton of emails later, I am taking much of the fall off from doing readings. So if you want a reading before the summer is over, go to dianaquarius.com. So let's see. Hello, Janice, Palma, Michelle, Spiritual Seeker, Sweetie, Darling, Lulu. Oh, I missed you, Lulu, in membership. Marjorie, Evie, Donna, Annika, great. Come on in, everybody, because I'm sure you have, hi Giselle, hi Valerie. I'm sure you have lots of questions, because we all watched it last night, but also too, look at the last post that I put on my community tab, because, Biden did just address what happened. Yeah, and I also decided to come on because I saw that most YouTubers are not really addressing it too much. And you guys are sending me lots of messages and giving me comments with anxiety. And so, here is my thought. I have a couple of thoughts, actually. Some are a little harsh, so I'm going to have to sort of be careful how I say it. The one thing I do want to preface this with, and I want to make this really, really clear. I am a dementia practitioner for real. I don't just play one on YouTube. I am somebody that trains doctors, nurses, social workers, psychologists about dementia. I am also certified by the Alzheimer's Association to teach about dementia. A lot of people are contradicting me. And when I ask them, well, why are you saying this? Why do you think this? Well, because another YouTuber said this. Well, if you hear me saying something about dementia, it's for real. Okay, I am not just making it up. I'm not pulling it out of a hat. You can ask me some questions about dementia, because you may have a question, like one thing that may come up to you right away is, how did 45 look so clear and present when I don't know if you guys heard the snake thing that he did the other day. That was so weird. I can't even duplicate what he was talking about with the snakes. It actually was stranger than the sharks and the electricity and all that. So, how did he become sharp and, sort of with it, right? I mean, everything he said was a lie, right? No doubt about it. But we knew that he was going to lie. We knew that. I told you he was going to deflect Hunter Biden, right? We knew that. But he came across as being clear spoken, right? So how does that happen with somebody with dementia? You actually can do that in the short term. You can. Long term, you can't, but in the short term, you can. And I'll tell you the very first time I ever saw it happen. So I was working in a dementia unit, and one of my patients took a fall, and she got hurt. Not badly hurt. I mean, not enough for surgery, because if somebody with dementia has anesthesia, that throws them into the next stage. So not surgery type hurt, but hurt enough that she was put on real painkillers. Well, she came back and she was a different person. It was like you and I. There was no behaviors. She was clear. Everything made sense. And I'm like, what the heck happened? So I pull her medical chart. I'm looking at it. And what I noticed with her, and then through the years, because I did this for a long time, is that there are certain drugs that you can put them on in the short term. And one of them is painkillers. A real painkiller like a Vicodin, a Percocet, can actually have them do a 180. There are things that are like that. Okay. Now, can you do that long term? Probably not. But in the short term, it can actually make them very bright, very chipper, like that they can use. I do think we need to have that discussion as a country about what medications these people can take ahead of time. Yeah, I'm sorry, Susan. Susan says, like, he was not really clear. Okay, well, but he wasn't doing the bing bonga bing bonga bing bonga bing, the snakes and the sharks and the, it wasn't that. He wasn't doing that. Okay, he was speaking more clearly. It was lies. It was his usual grossness, but it was more coherent in a sense. Like there was actual sentences. That is how you could do that. Oh yes, talking about Karen Reed. I know it looks like it's gonna be a hung jury. That poor woman has been through hell and back. Let's just send love to that woman. I feel so bad for Karen Reed. For those of you that's following the trial, I mean, she's everything from a shape-shifting werewolf to a pig that roams the streets at night. I mean, the facts that have come out about her is ridiculous. She's innocent. And just the fact that even the jury is like, I mean, how about just the fact that the jury does not have a box to check off not guilty? And her lawyer, tried protesting that, saying, can't we have like a not guilty box here? And the judge said, no, they can just leave it blank, I guess. And it was like, so they don't even have the option of saying she's not guilty. So, I mean, nuts. Right. Could I believe that? Oh, of course I can believe that 45 said January 6th was one of the best days in American history. That he's delusional. Okay, so here's the thing. There's drugs that can help with hallucinations, visual and audio hallucinations, but there's no real great drugs that can really get rid of delusions. And that's really tough. Like if somebody really believes that the birds outside their window is there to kill them, that's like a common one. There's no great drug for that. You can help ease their anxiety. You can give them, and of course too with dementia, certain anxiety medicines will actually have the adverse effect. So yeah, he's still going to have the delusions. That is something that they can't cover up. And there's no covering up his ego. There is no drug for that, okay? And I apologize, I am wearing my glasses, so I'm sure, even though there is an anti-glare on there, I'm sure there's a bit of a glare. And it's also a beautiful day here, so I do have the windows open. You can see my heart's moving behind me because my fans are going. And so what I think happened with Biden, this is my feeling, I think both as like, sort of like a clinician, but also as a psychic, is that he had a really nasty cold. That is what I think. You could hear it in his voice. Okay, first of all, that's not dementia, right? Something was wrong with his voice. Now you might say, oh, but Diane, their voices can go with dementia. Yes, but it's gone every day. It doesn't go like one day and then it's back the next, right? Yes, the muscles can atrophy, then they have problems swallowing. Yes, I get that. I'm just looking. Are delusions part of his malignant narcissism? That you'd have to do like a real good case study on that, I think, for me to actually give a fair analysis of that. Like, when did his delusions actually start? And then separating delusions from narcissism. That's a whole thing too, right? I mean, that's something else that you can talk about. Okay, someone said that he didn't blow up. Okay, part of the reason, one, he was highly coached. Two, they muted his mic every time. Okay, so we didn't get to hear and see, like they'd pull the camera away, they'd mute it. If they didn't mute it and pull the camera away, I think it'd be a very, very different story. So here's something that I think all of you should be aware of, because you may not know this. So I do believe Biden had a really nasty cold. You could hear it in his voice. He was unable to project his voice. Like, even I was going like, what? Like, I had a hard time hearing him. But then also too, why didn't they boost his mic? Okay? Because you guys know that I'm somebody that struggles with laryngitis. That has been like a lifelong thing for me. And I've had this issue for decades. You know, it just like the wind blows the wrong way, I get laryngitis. So you learn how to cope with it when you can't project your voice. And I've had training on how to project your voice. But you know what? Sometimes I can't. And where I think he had a really nasty cold, he could not project his voice. They should have compromised that, you know, like come to some kind of sort of compromise with the volume of the microphone. Because I am very familiar with being on stage. The first like 25 years of my life, I should say, from the time I was 4, you know what, you can balance. The technology that we have nowadays is amazing. His microphone should have been boosted to compromise for his voice. Now, the other thing to remember, hey June, is that when somebody is older, okay, and they get something like some heavy duty cold medicine, heavy duty cough suppressants, cough syrups, you know, things like that, because their brain is aging, it's going to be broken down differently. And so whereas a younger person may have no problem getting jacked up on cold and cough medicine, an older person is going to present differently. Okay? And I've heard through the years, several news anchors and people that, you know, have to go live on TV. I've heard them mention, and some of them actually talk about how they do get jacked up on like whatever it takes actually to get them through the show. Anybody that has to perform in front of a live audience, they will give them whatever. And if you noticed, Biden was doing the right, so he wasn't downright coughing and sniffling, sneezing, but he was having issues still. You could tell, right? And so because he's older, the way his brain processes those types of medications can be quite different. And I'm just looking at some of your comments too, guys, as I'm going here. Well, right, yeah. Okay, 45 didn't always answer the questions as stated, but that's right. He just diverts, but we already knew he was going to divert, he was going to deflect, he was going to, we knew that. And so what I would say is, don't count Biden out. It was one debate, okay? They did it early. Let's not forget July 11th is coming, all right? And I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm not. It's one debate. And the thing is, when it comes right down to it, who would you rather have as your president? Did this change your mind? Because it didn't change my mind. It did not change my mind. Now, the polls that are coming out, it didn't change people's minds. The people that were going to vote for 45 are still voting for 45 for the most part, and the people that were going to vote for Biden for the most part are still voting for Biden. And then you have all the people in between, right? So you have the independents, and then you also have what they're calling the, what are they calling them? The double haters. They don't like either candidate. And so they're really focusing on those double haters. They don't like either one. And so I'll look at that, Kate. Kate's asking if 45 will do more debates. We'll look at that. I'm kind of thinking no. It wouldn't be in his best interest, in my opinion. But also, too, if you notice, because I said, if it goes badly for him with the debate, he's going to pick his vice president like that. And that would be today's big story. And so right now he's relishing in this moment, but don't forget, July 11th is coming. He's going to have to switch the narrative pretty darn quick. Okay. So he'll make the announcement when the narrative has to be switched. Okay. Yeah. Giselle says, I wish Biden had told everybody why his voice was like that. Yeah, me too. Me too. But you know what though, to me, Biden is like this slow and steady, workhorse that has a proven record, that gets things done, that has our best interests at heart. And then, I saw this meme where they actually had 45 as this like gigantic squealing pig. Which one would you rather have? That strong, steady workhorse or the squealing pig? And don't get me wrong, you guys know my love of pigs. Those of you that are in my membership program, you've heard me talk about it. So don't get me wrong. But you get the analogy, right? You get the metaphor. I want that strong, steady workhorse. I know how Biden's going to vote. I know how he's going to lead our country. It doesn't give me anxiety at night when I think about him being president. It does not. And so I don't think this jeopardizes him. But like I said before, and I know some of you disagree with me, but I will hold to this, is that there will be a point in his presidency, in his second term, that Kamala will take over and she will be our first female president. I'm holding to that. I do not see him passing. I see him stepping aside. And I've always said that. And as for 45, death by a million litigations. That's not going to change. It's not going to change. But one thing that I want to be really clear about, a lot of you are posting really horribly misinformed information about dementia, and where I'm asking you guys, where are you getting this from? And what I'm getting is from other YouTubers. I am just going to start blocking you because channels get shut down when they allow for misinformation. So I just want to have you guys bear that in mind. It's fine to ask questions. It's fine to question things. That's sure. That's not a problem. But hi, Jamie. Jamie says it was her first time watching me with Andre. Love Andre. And we both predicted that both candidates would be there, right? We both said that because a lot of people, because I know a lot of other YouTubers said, oh, no, they was both going to be there. I doubt there's going to be a second debate. I really do. I think 45 is going to be so overwhelmed. But I will say, and I know this, and first of all, this is my opinion, but I think I have enough experience as a dementia practitioner to know what I'm talking about. I do think 45 was medicated to enhance and boost him because he did come across as more vibrant than usual and more clear-spoken than usual. And that's just not possible, right? That's not just possible. You can't coach somebody into that. And you could see that Biden was sick. And, but of course too, if Biden had said, look, I don't feel good, then, all heck would have broken loose and people would have been upset. So let's just take a look. I got my cards here. Let me get comfortable. I sat down just real quick. We just got back. We literally, we had our Impossible Burgers on the road back, and so I had a little bit to eat. But yeah, let me just take a look, at Biden winning, okay? Biden winning the election. First card, Magician. So for those of you that's taken my tarot class, this is a yes card. He is going to be able to work his magic. This, the Magician doesn't work by happenstance. He takes his power and he uses it to manifest the reality that he desires. Obstacle. This could actually be health. Okay, because we know Pentacles is health and money. I do think he'll have the money to run, but I think there is going to be a little health something. And you know what? Okay, I'll come here. This is the card of normalcy, Six of Cups. This is a return of traditional values and things going back to how they should be. And then take the card on the bottom, the card of stability. Four of Pentacles, right? It takes four corners to make the foundation of a house. And so he brings us more stability. So we get, normalcy, stability. Yes, him working his magic. And Andre said this too. It is in his chart to have some little health thing, some kind of health thing crop up. And so, you know, this is also like the first time we've ever had a sitting president debate like an active felon. I mean, let's take a moment and just appreciate that. Let that sink in for a second. That is nuts. Okay? That is nuts. Does anybody have any questions that you would like me to pull a few cards on? Oh, and I didn't bring my drink in. I got one of those drinks that has it has cranberry juice as the base, but then it has like antioxidants and vitamins added to it, and I left it out in the kitchen. Other elected presidents have muffled debates. Have muffed debates pre-second. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a second debate. But you know what? Let's pull a few cards. Let's pull a few cards. Is there going to be another debate? Will there be another debate between Biden and 45? Nancy, I'm feeling no with the child's credit next year. But once again, let's take a look. Second debate. Look, backs turned, walking away. 8 of Cups. Backs turned, walking away. Obstacle. So this is a card, you know, Queen of Pentacles. She's somebody who's very grounded. She's very down to earth. She's practical. So yeah, I just don't think it'd be practical. Like 45 needs to take this win. It wouldn't make sense for him. No, it's not going to happen. It's not. You know, you get the moon card. This is a no card. This is a card of disillusionment. And then if I take the card at the bottom of the deck, no, you know, like once again, 5 of Cups, grief, sorrow, and no. So no. Please pull on Biden's disgust for Trump. Well, we already know what that is. I mean, he does have disgust for Trump. Of course he does. I mean, the way he insulted his dead son. Come on now. Child care credit. The child credit coming back next year. Nancy wanted to know. Well, something's moving forward. Let's take a look at the rest of the cards. Okay, so it's definitely going to be talk about it. Something's advancing here. Obstacle is them coming to terms with it, like actually coming through with like something practical, like some sort of legislation, rules, regulations, them working together. Okay, wishes and dreams coming true, and they ultimately do come together. So you know what I'm thinking, where I was getting like kind of like, no, for, you know, like the next year, maybe it'd be more like the end of 2025, 2026. Okay. Let me see what else I have for questions. Marie's question. Do Marie's question. I didn't see Marie's question. Will the Dems win the House and the Senate? We have, I will do a separate video on that one because that really deserves its own thing. I don't do death predictions 5-1. I don't think it matters in this case who's going to live longer, whether it's Biden or Trump, because 45 is going to, well, I don't see him going to jail, but he's, you know, going to be stuck at home, you know, doing his thing. And also, too, like Andre says, there is like a major health thing that appears to be coming up for 45. So I don't think it's really going to matter, you know, whether he's on this planet or not, because he's not going to be in politics and we're not going to be talking about him anymore. He'll be off doing his own thing. Governor Abbott. Oh, okay. Governor Abbott, will he win his next term? Let's see. Governor Abbott. Abbott. Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so this is a very pivotal time for Abbott in his... All right, so I'm going to end it there. I know my internet's getting wonky, but I just thought I'd come on, share that with you. I hope everyone's doing well. Check out membership. You can check out membership by hitting the join button. And if you want a reading, go to dianeaquarius.com. And so let's all just take a deep breath, and I will see you all in a couple of days. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.